Why doesn't anybody know anything about Charlie Kirk's parents? I just saw a video about this, and it had literally never occurred to me that no one is talking about. We have not heard from or seen footage of anybody other than Erica and the freaking vice president and Usha anywhere involved in the situation. And every news outlet has the same like little snippets, and it's that his mother was a mental health care provider and his father was an architect, and his father was involved in the building of and the design of Trump Tower in New York. I literally like can't even find their names anywhere. They are not really listed. They're like, he has a younger sibling too, and they are just completely out of the picture, which is insane. In a high profile moment like this, it is insane that the only person that we are hearing from or seeing involved in anything is his wife. And that gives you such a huge window into what that family dynamic is like. Like, obviously, I always sort of assumed he had no relationship with his mom because the hatred of women, you know, like it has to come from somewhere, and generally it would come from that space. And maybe that's the case, that none of them talk to him, but it's really strange that someone with 8 million followers that had his body transported on Air Force 2 just like doesn't have a family.
There is something off with Erica Kirk. What she is wearing seems a bit inappropriate to mourn your husband, who was literally taken out for the entire world to see. This woman is not grieving anything. She skipped straight to acceptance. This is most definitely PR, and they're using your grief for marketing. And the fact that Charlie Kirk's assassination is still being covered up, she is still walking around with the same security from September 10th, saying she's so excited for the new content that she'll be releasing. Isn't it strange how a widow stepped into the CEO role? She did 3 speeches already, one at a stadium. Charlie's family didn't even speak, and she's selling t-shirts, and is already hosting her husband's podcast, now doing an all-American halftime show with performers. She's not even home with her 2 young children who just lost their dad, not to mention how they're still trying to cover up her ties in Romania.
One thing that's been interesting to me over the last week is that we haven't heard or seen anything from Charlie Kirk's family, meaning parents, siblings. I just read something that his parents are both non-political. They're both apolitical. His dad's an architect. His mom is a mental health counselor. He has a younger sister who is 2 years younger than him, who is very, very much a devoted progressive.
His wife is already doing podcasts. Look at this. What are you talking about? Your husband?
No way. Telling me she's already doing pods, bro. Your husband just got massacred. When my uncle died, I was in a daze for years. Like, I couldn't even speak, bro. I couldn't even talk at his funeral. He was like my brother. It was so devastating to me. He was young. You know? We were very close. And it was the only time in my life that I couldn't find words. Just thinking about it makes me sad. Let alone your husband gets executed in front of the whole world. Let's cue the fireworks. And remember when I kept saying, Sonny, something just doesn't seem right. I was scared to talk more that day because I didn't want to be insensitive. It's very fishy. This now confirms it to me 100%. If this was me there, I would have been bawling.
It began with a sound no one in the comedy world expected to hear again. Not a punchline, not a setup, but the low, steady, and deadly serious voice of Dave Chappelle. At a packed show in Nashville, he stepped up to the mic, didn't crack a single joke, and said they didn't just lose faith in her, they erased her. The room, once buzzing with anticipation, fell completely silent. Cameras went up, and within minutes, the internet was on fire because everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. He was talking about Erica Kirk, the widow of the conservative firebrand Charlie Kirk, and the woman who had, for a time, become the public face of grief and loyalty for an entire movement. But Dave wasn't done. He leaned forward, his eyes burning under the stage lights. Charlie's family didn't cut her off because of scandal, he said. They cut her off because she lied to them, and the FBI helped her do it. That one line didn't just get a reaction, it broke the internet in half.
By the time fans uploaded shaky, electrifying clips of the moment to TikTok and Twitter, every major news network had picked up the story. What did Dave mean? What did Erica lie about? And why would Charlie Kirk's own family, the very people who had built his empire alongside him, want her gone so badly? Theories, both wild and disturbingly plausible, began to flood every corner of the web.
At first, many people thought it was just more noise. Another wave of viral gossip from the endless and chaotic storm that has surrounded the Kirk family since Charlie's death. But insiders, those in the quiet rooms of conservative media and fundraising circles, knew something deeper and much darker was boiling just just beneath the surface. This wasn't the first time they had heard whispers that Erica Kirk's relationship with Charlie's family had quietly and completely collapsed. For months, whispers had been leaking from private fundraisers, church circles, and media boardrooms. Whispers that Erica wasn't just out of the family, she had been officially banned from every Kirk Foundation event. The woman who was once the centerpiece of their public image had been quietly and systematically scrubbed from their legacy. And now, thanks to Dave Chappelle, that dirty and dangerous secret was public. Before the scandal, before the leaks, before Dave Chappelle's voice became the sound of a shocking revelation, the Kirk family was, by all accounts, perfect. For years, the world saw them as America's most polished conservative dynasty, a family built on the unshakable pillars of faith, discipline, and purpose. Charlie Kirk was their crown jewel, young, ambitious, magnetic, and a powerful voice that shaped national conversations. Then came Erica. She was charming, photogenic, and articulate, the perfect match, at least on the surface. To the public, she was the devoted and grounding partner to Charlie's firebrand energy. To the family, she was a public relations blessing. But inside the Kirk family's inner circle, a quiet and growing unease began to brew. An unease that only grew stronger as Erica's influence and power became more and more apparent. The first real crack in the perfect family facade appeared shortly after Charlie and Erica married. His parents, Robert and Elizabeth Kirk, reportedly tried to include her in the family's long-term financial and legacy planning. But within a year, Erica had launched her own, separate nonprofit initiative, a charity she called the Legacy Project. The problem, it wasn't run through the official Kirk Family Foundation. It was completely independent, and it had its own, separate bank accounts. This is when the family's accountants began to notice something strange. Donations that were clearly intended for the main Kirk Foundation were being mysteriously redirected to Erica's new project. At first, Charlie's father, Robert, brushed it off. He told a colleague she was ambitious and wanted to build something of her own. But Elizabeth, Charlie's mother, was not convinced. She confided in a close friend, "She's not building something of her own, she's building something that replaces us." Then came the mysterious donors. Names that the family didn't recognize, but that Erica defended fiercely. One of them, according to financial documents that were later exposed by Dave Chappelle, was a lobbying group with quiet but deep ties to the federal government. This is when, according to those closest to him, Charlie himself began to change. He became frustrated, paranoid, and felt trapped within the very movement he had built. In one of his last private podcast sessions, which was never aired publicly, Charlie reportedly said, quote, "The message has become something else. It's about clicks and control now. It's not about the people anymore." Just a few weeks later, he canceled 2 major speaking appearances, citing, quote, "mental exhaustion." But according to an aide who later spoke anonymously, the truth was much darker. He had told the aide, "I don't trust the people running my foundation anymore, and I don't trust Erica either." The family auditors eventually uncovered a web of financial irregularities, missing assets, falsified invoices, and unexplained consulting fees, all tied to a network of trusts controlled by Erica. But the worst discovery was that some of those documents carried digital signatures that matched emails from known federal contractors. When the family confronted Erica privately, she didn't deny it. Instead, she reportedly said, "You don't understand. This goes higher than you." That was the moment that Charlie's father, Robert Kirk, decided to cut all ties. He sent a formal legal notice revoking all of Erica's inheritance claims, her control of the foundation, and any right to represent the family name. The statement was never released publicly, but it was leaked, passed from staffer to journalist to whistleblower, until it finally landed in Dave Chappelle's inbox. And that's when the story shifted from a quiet rumor to a public revelation. The war began not with a press conference, but with a leak. Dave Chappelle, the man who had spent decades mastering the art of telling the truth through laughter, dropped the jokes entirely. He posted a single 9-minute audio file to a private channel, a recording of a phone call. The file spread like wildfire. The recording began with the sound of typing and a muffled voice saying, "We can't risk another audit." Then, a familiar voice, calm and confident, Erica's. On the call, Erica can be heard saying, "The family doesn't understand how deep this goes. Charlie found things that were never meant to be seen. I told them to stop digging." Another, unidentified male voice answers, "You did what you were told. He was compromised, we handled it. Now you need to secure the legacy account before his parents find out." Then Erica says, quieter, "They already suspect. Robert's been asking questions. If he connects the transfers to the FBI contract, we're finished." That's when Dave himself cut into the recording, his own voice echoing through the static. "Y'all hear that? She said the FBI contract. Now tell me again how this is just about grief." The clip was the smoking gun, the proof of a family torn apart not by grief, but by fear, deception, and federal manipulation. Dave then went live, telling his millions of viewers, "This ain't about politics. This is about a man who tried to tell the truth and a family who realized too late that the person they trusted most was feeding his enemies." Just as the chaos from the first leak peaked, Erica Kirk disappeared from the public eye. But she wasn't hiding. 12 hours later, a professionally shot 60-second video surfaced on her verified Instagram account. Her face was pale, her voice was trembling, but her words were ice. She said, "Dave Chappelle doesn't know what he's playing with. The files he has were never meant for him. They were part of an internal operation to protect national interests. If he keeps releasing them, people will get hurt, including him." The internet froze. Was it a threat, a warning, or a confession? Dave didn't wait to find out. He went live again that same night, shaking his head. "You don't threaten a man who's already told the truth," he said. He then held up a folder labeled "The Redemption Files" and played one more clip. The call began with an automated tone, a secure government line. Then Erica's voice, urgent and terrified. "It's out! He found the backups! Dave has them! What do I do?" A calm male voice replied, "Stay quiet, discredit him. We'll handle the Kirks." The feed cut out. The aftermath of Dave Chappelle's leaks didn't just ripple through the media, it detonated. By dawn, the story was no longer about tabloids or politics, it was a matter of national security. The FBI officially labeled the leaked recordings classified digital contraband, and news outlets were ordered to remove them under the Espionage Act. But it was too late. The clips were everywhere, and Erica's voice, once so soft and persuasive, now echoed across the internet like a ghost confessing her sins. Then, in an even more bizarre move, the FBI subpoenaed Erica Kirk herself. According to leaked documents, the Bureau claimed that her private communications contained unauthorized federal materials, implying that the very agency she had allegedly been cooperating with was now turning on her. And that's when Dave Chappelle resurfaced with his final, most devastating revelation. He opened a file and held up a photo of Charlie Kirk shaking hands with a man whose face was partially obscured. "This," Dave said, "is who Charlie was meeting with before he died. His name is Agent Keller, a federal contractor, the same guy who shows up in the transaction records for Erica's foundation, the same man who signed off on the grant that wired money out of Charlie's account 3 days before the crash." Dave then dropped the final bombshell, a piece of audio that no one had ever heard before. It was Charlie Kirk's own voice, weak and shaken, recorded just days before his death. "If anything happens to me," Charlie whispered, "look at Erica's emails. The foundation isn't what it seems. And if the FBI gets to her first, the truth dies with me." The file ended with the faint sound of Charlie saying, "Tell them it wasn't an accident." The meaning was now chillingly clear. The Kirk family didn't just exile Erica to punish her for financial betrayal, they exiled her to distance themselves from a dangerous federal operation she was a part of. Charlie's death wasn't an accident, and Erica's loyalty was never to her husband. It was to the powerful people who made him disappear. That was the twist no one saw coming. The Kirk family wasn't hiding Erica from the world anymore. They were hiding from her. And Dave Chappelle had just exposed the most powerful widow in America as the final critical link between a beloved family, a corrupt federal power, and the sinister system that silenced the man she had once promised to love.